How we doing?
Let's ask you, Coach, the open practice, this has not been a policy here before. Why did you do this today?
The same thing. We just as many opportunities as we can to reach out to the community and connect. Also, I think people are a little curious about who and what we're going to be. So, we got a chance to show a little bit today. But, once again, an opportunity to reach out and make a connection with the community, which is what we're trying to do.
Talking about football now, how the guys progressing like you hoped they would so far?
I think we've improved dramatically since the spring. Now, where that means we are yet, I'm not really sure. But I can tell you this, we've improved dramatically from the spring on both sides of the ball. We're starting to work on some depth. We made some moves. I'm very, very happy with moving Gillespie over there and some of those things that's helped us with as well.
We talked in the spring about constant moving. You guys don't sit down. You're always doing something. Is that your philosophy, to get these guys always busy?
Yeah, tempo is very, very important to me. I thought we dragged around a little bit today. I'd like to see us fly around a little bit more, but we're starting to understand. We're moving in that direction, but I'd like to see us get in and out of the huddle, run around on defense a little bit more and increase our tempo even more.
You like the competition battle at quarterback still?
I do. I think the last couple of days, I think Larry's widened the gap a little bit, but on the same hand, Jordan's had very few actually reps. If you really look at his live reps, so I'm interested to see how they're going to play when it comes when we get in the stadium tonight.
Good. The hit on Jordan there, where he was down for a minute. Where do you draw the line between aggressiveness and trying not to get hurt? Is that just kind of hard to sort through?
Not really. I mean, I thought that was, as long as it's a clean hit and it's straight up, I got no problem with it. This is a contact game. We're going to play the game violent and aggressive. We're going to fly around. So I got no problem with that. I think we need a little bit more of that, to be honest with you. He was fine. He got back up. He was in the very next play. So to me, he shouldn't have laid on the field that long, to be honest with you.
Saw more fully at guard today. You like how he keeps progressing?
Yeah, we think he's very advanced for a freshman. Obviously, it's hard for freshmen to play, but he's pretty far along, especially on the offensive line. And we got some issues at guard, as we all know. So we wanted to move him in there and see if he could help us. And he's by far the most far along of the freshman line.
Well, what part of this team, offensive line, defensive line, secondary, is showing the most improvement and really makes you happy right now?
I would say the O-line is probably the most improved unit on the team. Now, don't get me wrong, we still got a long ways to go. That doesn't mean I'm happy or we're becoming complacent, because we're not. But they've improved dramatically since the spring. I think the quarterbacks have as well. I think the D-line is really starting to do some good things in the secondary. We're starting to increase some depth at the linebacker position, but that's still an area of concern for me.
Left out running backs and wide receivers, are those something that needs to be worked on more, or are they just right now?
I feel pretty good about the running back position. I think Seymour is a freshman who's really opened a lot of eyes. We knew he was good, but he's doing some really special things, I think. Linebacker, was it secondary you asked me? Oh, receiver.
Yeah.
Receiver is an area of concern. I think Jordan's doing some really good things. Krause has had a good camp, but we need more consistency. We need more playmakers. We need more depth.
You've been at it, I guess, for 8 days now. What do you see as the big 2 or 3 storylines since you've started?
Good question. I would say probably the biggest storyline that jumps to my mind is just these guys adjusting to how we practice in Temple. We've got a lot of guys cramp up and issues like that. And talking to the seniors, they just have never practiced like this before. So it's not that it's bad, it's not that it's wrong, it's not that it's right. It's just a major adjustment that they're having to go through. So that's probably the biggest adjustment I've had. This is normal to me, and it hasn't been to them. But they're fighting through it. As long as we continue that, we'll be good. Obviously, the quarterback position is always important. And then, the leadership on defense, which we probably have more of. Those are probably the areas that jump out to me the most.
Started game plan for Elon a little bit, or no?
Elon's done, UConn's done, Ole Miss is done. We've got a head start on Army on the defensive side of the ball. Now, that doesn't mean we won't go back and tweak it, because as you go through camp, you start to develop your identity a little bit more. So we'll go back through and tweak it, but no, those are already broken down and done.
Wow.
Do you think your guys were pretty fired up about all the fans being here? I saw there were some Twitter posts, that sort of thing, some guys pointing at the crowd. What do you think about that interaction they've been having with the fans?
Yeah, I think the interaction is great. We're very, very thankful of our fans. Our fans are fiercely loyal. You talk to the fans who've been coming here for years through some tough times, and they've stuck with us. So I think they're due. They're due for some success. They're due for some fun.
James, you talk about identity. I know you probably want to go 2 back, but we've seen a lot of 3 wides of late. What do you think your offensive identity will be in when it all settles in?
Yeah, I don't ever remember saying I want to be 2 back. Maybe you want to be 2 back, but but we're going to be multiple is really what we've talked about the whole time. We're going to be 2 back, we're going to be 1 back, we're going to be no back. We might be 3 backs with our situation. We might be 4 by 1. We're going to be as multiple as we possibly can. We're going to go no huddle. We're going to go huddle. We're going to change up our tempo. We're going to be have as much variety in our offense as we possibly can. That's who we want to be. And then obviously as this thing develops, we'll start leaning towards one a little bit more and start to develop more of an identity the closer we get to game week.
Is that how things were at Maryland, or did you have more of a set identity there?
No, I think that is our identity.
Okay.
Our identity is being as multiple as we possibly can. That's who I want our identity to be. Now, right now when we haven't been able to recruit to our identity yet, we might be limited in how much we can do, especially at the receiver position. So we're going to have to be creative in how we do it other ways.
Scrimmage later on today.
Yep.
What are you looking for the most out of that? Execution, competition, both?
It's a good question. Actually, I probably should cover that with the team in today's afternoon meeting. I think we've done some pretty good things when it comes to execution and stuff like that. I want to see them fly around and not be afraid to make mistakes. That's been an issue here. Guys have played cautious. So part of playing fast is not only recruiting fast guys, but getting them to play fast and fly around and know their schemes and not be afraid to make mistakes. That's what I really want to see today.
You mentioned
One more question, guys.
You mentioned the pass coach. We were sort of talking out here on the sidelines about how maybe some fans weren't used to the coach. They're watching the coach run a practice and seeing him interrupt for a second and tell the players how he feels, and not be afraid to speak up. And is that something you're known for, and that you don't mind the fans seeing that side of you?
I don't know what I'm known for because I've only been coaching here for a couple months, but yeah, I'm not, my personality, my style, I'm not just going to sit back and watch. I take a lot of notes throughout practice and give my coaches and my staff corrections of things that, I think we ought to look at or change. And I'm going to do the same thing with the players. I'm going to be very, very active. We don't have enough time to just sit back and wait. We got a lot of challenges. We got a lot of issues that need to be corrected. So we're going to fly around and fix them as fast as we can.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.